Hello, hello. It is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, coming to you with another episode of Podcasting Your Purpose. That's right. This is episode number 101. 101 episodes of the Podcasting Your Purpose series. And I am going to be putting this together as my second resource guide because my first resource guide, Podcasting Your Purpose Workbook or Resource Guide, which is available on Amazon for $15.99, covered some great topics, including what is a podcast, because by now you should know what a podcast is. It also covers why start a podcast. We all know why you should start a podcast. You can use your voice and your vision and your mission to leave a legacy that can literally change someone's life. Also, the power of podcasting, just how powerful podcasting is becoming. And I'm going to talk about podcasting in the classroom once again on my Anchor FM podcast this Saturday, especially now since the kids are back to school. I can't say back in school because a lot of it is virtual. Even colleges that started back on campus are finding that they need to go virtual. So we're going to talk about the power of podcasting, how you as an educator, an administrator, or a supervisor can use the podcast, the power of a podcast to connect with your students, to connect with your clients, to connect with your customers. Planning a podcast. You know what I like to say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I've talked about scheduling and things like that, but that's just part of what's available in the Podcasting Your Purpose Resource Guide. And again, I'm going to be creating, and I've already started. I've got 8 chapters done for the Podcasting Your Purpose, a part 2 coming soon. I wanted to get it done before my 59th birthday, which is Sunday the 20th. I may have it written, it just won't be published by then, but I'll let you know. And if you're interested in learning more or even contributing to the book because you heard something here that is helping you on your journey or helping to convince you to start a podcast, please leave that comment so I can give you some credit into the book. Again, leave an email at info@ablakeenterprises.com or leave a comment, whatever works for you. So today we're talking about podcasting promotion checklist. And I actually have this checklist. So if you want a copy of the checklist, as I go through it, you can take notes. But if you want a copy of the checklist, make sure you send me an email or leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, even first and foremost, but leave a comment saying, I want a copy of the checklist and I'll get it to you. So this morning I was talking about blogging on my other podcast. I have 2 podcast shows. Let me show you this one. This is Blog Your Way to a Business Profit. So season 2, episode 2 was a checklist for bloggers. So today I said, why not just do a pointers, a podcasting pointers checklist over here. So that's what I'm going to do today. So every day that you do a new podcast, every week that you do a new podcast, every month that you do a new podcast, it's never one and done. You have to promote it. Again, this is one of the biggest pain points for most podcasters as well as bloggers and writers. How do I get it out in front of a larger audience? How do I get more people talking about it? And most importantly, how do I get people to share it? Because sharing is caring. Remember that. You want to always share not only what you've heard or read, but what knowledge that you have. And that's a perfect, podcasting is a perfect platform for that. So I am sharing with you a checklist that I got from AudioBurst. And if you don't know about AudioBurst, you check it out, especially as a podcaster. Because again, we want to promote our podcast on different mediums. And AudioBurst can transcribe your podcast. It can also create those waves and those mini videos so that you're sharing content with others who may prefer to get that information visual or to a way to stop the scroll. That's what I like to say. Stop the scroll. So we're going to talk about podcasting promotion checklist. And again, I received this from AudioBurst. I added my own 2 cents. But again, Sharing is caring. So as you continue along on your podcasting journey, take notes or just leave me an email, info@ablakeenterprises.com, or leave the comment below and I will send you a copy of this checklist. So the first thing I want you to do is think of your podcast as a business, because it is. The other day, I talked to the attendees of the EC Podcast Media Knowledge Academy. And I talked about starting out your podcast. You should always think of it as a business. Even if it's just a hobby, you might want to turn it into a jobby. So start thinking of it as a business. Make sure that you're starting this and it's going to be building onto your brand. Number one. And branding, make sure you have one. Logo, your color scheme, your artwork. And you can create your artwork yourself on Canva or PixArt or something else, an Adobe Illustrator, or you can hire a professional graphic designer from, Fiverr or Upwork. But you want to make sure that your brand is reflective of your topic. So choose something that fits your niche well. Number three, make sure that you create not only social media platforms specific for your podcast, or using your current social media platforms to promote your podcast by always uploading the link, the URL, an image, asking a question on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any other, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, whatever the case may be. You want to promote your podcast on these social media platforms, and it's not one and done. Sign up for Hootsuite, Buffer app, Promo Republic, Meet Edgar, so that you can syndicate and automate these URLs, these posts when you're promoting your podcast. So on the day that you submit it and you publish it, then make sure it comes out that night, that weekend, next week, next month, 2 months from now, next year, whatever the case may be. It's never one and done. Your RSS feed, find that. There's ways to find your RSS feed, real simple syndication. That is how your listeners know that there's a new episode. When you upload them to the various platforms, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Anchor, whatever the case may be, you want your, not YouTube, you want your listeners to get the new episodes. So on Anchor, which I'm really talking about here, what you're going to do is you're going to click the settings at the top right of your dashboard. This is left, but this is my left. This is the right. And up there, it'll say distribution. And then you'll locate your RSS feed. I think you go down and then you just simply copy it. And then you paste it into any of the platforms that's asking for it. So whether it's SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, whatever the case may be, that is where you find your RSS feed on Anchor. There are ways to find your RSS feed from other apps, and all you simply have to do is Google RSS feed SoundCloud, RSS feed Apple, RSS feed, and it'll tell you how to locate your RSS feed. And you want to upload it to as many platforms, as many directories as possible. Again, because you want to be found when people are scrolling on various platforms. You want your podcast to show up if they're asking for educational podcasts, comedies, arts and science, literature, crime, true mystery, whatever the case may be. You want to be in so many different directories that your podcast is going to bound to show up in one of them. Number 4, create your own pod page or website. I'm going to leave the referral link to Podpage because I have my Delaware Blogger podcast on its own webpage, and it's with Podpage. And that way you can go and see all or listen to all episodes. There's actually 220 episodes on Anchor. So you could scroll through, you can binge listen, you can find a specific one. If I'm referring to one in a blog post or in a social media post, you can click and go right there. But it's a list, it's a directory. Again, that RSS feed is that directory that I had to give them in order for them to pull every new episode. So every time I record a new episode, Podpage gets that and it's automatically added to my website, and there's nothing else I need to do. So that's another great thing. And all I have to do is give you my pod page link, which is going to be in the show notes of today's show. You click that and you will see all my various podcasts. The next one I want to talk about is start building that email list. And don't wait. Start it right away. Use that as your call to action. Ask people to subscribe to your podcast. Ask them to review your podcast. Ask them to share your podcast. Give them a call to action where they need to give you your email address. Do a contest. Do a giveaway. Like this month, I'm doing a contest, a giveaway for a basic blogging tips for beginners book. Every week, I'm giving out another book, and it's only based on if you leave a comment at the end of each podcast. Then you're automatically entered to win a book, Basic Blogging Tips for Beginners. So yesterday was season 2, episode 1 of Blog Your Way to a Business Profit. If you listened to the podcast and then you left a comment, I will enter your name as a chance to win a copy of Basic Blogging Tips for Beginners. And this is going to be every Wednesday for the month of September in celebration of my birthday. So you've got the 2nd, the 9th, the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. That's 5 books I'm going to be giving away this month. So head over to Blog Your Way to a Business Profit. Listen to episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 this whole month. In celebration of my birthday, I'm giving away my book as a gift to you. So make sure you do that as well. You can also get a copy of the book by going to dellblogger.com and ordering it $9.99. And if you'd like to get a book bundle, $26 for both, the Podcasting Your Purpose resource book, part 1, and the blog on Basic Blogging Tips for Beginners book. That's a book bundle from me. And again, you just have to send an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com. Next, I want you to make sure you transcribe the podcast show notes, whether you're doing it yourself via the show notes or you're using something like Headliner, Audiobirds, or some other transcribed company that will take the words from your mouth and put it in a written form, because that way you can share it in an ebook, you can share it in a newsletter, you can share it in an email, you can share quotes on social media platforms, you can create a checklist or printables that's going to expand your brand. And that's what you want to do. Excuse me. Today we got the Nestle Splash Mandarin Orange. Oh, that's refreshing. How much sugar is in there? I got to be careful. My sugar was a bit high this morning after I had some salad dressing in my salad. Who knew? All right. So blog your way to a business profit. That's how you get to them. Now, list your podcast in various directories. That's using your RSS feed. Once you find and locate your RSS feed, which I told you how to do it in Anchor, make sure you upload it to Google Play, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify, any and all the others. Now, if you're on Anchor, it's already uploaded to those like 11 platforms. So there's base right there, but you want to add to others. So make sure you subscribe and upload your RSS feed to these other platforms. Find online communities and forums, whether they're on Facebook or here on YouTube. Join them, share, care, because there are days that you can promote your podcast episodes. You can ask questions, you can get answers, and you can answer questions as you get bigger and better, or you just have a way of doing something, or you found a neat way to, do your cover art. When people ask questions, again, they're looking for answers. And if you become the expert in the field of podcasting, people will start to listen to your podcast. So join those forums. Use the hashtag to find those various forums, whether they're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever the case may be. Find those forums and join them. And speaking of, I wanted to make sure I put this in here. Speaking of hashtags, when you're promoting your podcast, make sure that you're using the various hashtags: podcast, podcaster, podcast life, podcast host, podcasting, podcast show, even the ones that you're on, Anchor FM, Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever the case may be, because you want to get more views and more eyes and ears on your podcast. These are great ways in which to promote yourself and your podcast. And of course, repurpose your content. Never one and done. Take those show notes. Remember using those transcribed show notes and create a blog post, create quotes, put it on social media, newsletters, printables, ebooks. Remember, I said 100 episodes here. I'm repurposing the content from a lot of them, and I'm going to put it in another book, another resource guide, number 2. I have ebooks that I'm going to combine. I have printables that I've got to combine. Use all this content. You have a lot of content, so you can repurpose it. You do not have to recreate the wheel. And collaborate. Collaborate with other podcasters. Connect and collaborate. That's what I should say. Connect and collaborate on EC Podcast Media or Elite Conversations. It's a community where we are sharing and caring. We appear on each other's podcasts as guests. We promote each other's shows. So get together with those communities, whether it's Elite Conversations or someplace else, but you want to promote your podcast. The more people that hear your show, the better chance you have of getting sponsorships, monetizing your podcast, increasing your numbers, expanding and broadening your brand. So do that. And last but not least, if you want boost with ads, pay to boost your podcast, whether it's on Facebook, on, Instagram, and I think on Twitter, you can do it as well. But when you're boosting the podcast, make sure you're boosting some of the good ones, not the first ones out of the gate where you may have not been that comfortable and you can hear it in your voice, which we talk about that as well. But boost the ones that you've got a great host on there or a great guest on there or a great topic, just something that is going to be good. So spend, $5, $10 to boost it on Facebook. And again, ask people to review. Simply ask. That's another call to action. Review your podcast because those reviews mean a lot, and it shows the Google bots as they're going through that there's things that are being said or talked about your podcast, and so they will promote it more when people are doing a search on Google. So if you're ready to start your podcast, definitely send an email to me, info@ablakeenterprises.com, to get you scheduled for your 30-minute complimentary discovery call, and then sign up for the coaching session. And in that coaching session, you will get so much good stuff, including a copy of the Podcasting Your Purpose resource guide. Again, this is a great blueprint to help you through 43 pages, scheduling. We talk about the power, talk about equipment, whether you're going to use a condenser mic like this, or simply use the phone, or find, a Yeti mic or whatever. So yeah, you get that. You also get checklists and printables, as well as unlimited email access and text and messaging for 30 days after we complete it, membership into the Facebook Podcasting Your Purpose Facebook book group, review of your trailer, your topic, your titles. I just go through that. And even once you've launched, I'm listening, I'm providing you tips, I'm giving you instructions, helping you out so that your podcast sounds good and it's right and it's tight, guests, release forms. There's a lot that you get for the coaching session. So send me an email, info@ablakeenterprises.com, to get yourself scheduled for that. And don't forget, we still have the Elite Conversations. Let me show you this. Elite Conversations Knowledge Academy. Tonight is week 2, episode 4, week 2, webinar 4. And we're going to be talking about storyboarding. So that's going to be good. So sign up. There's still 14 more webinars that you can sign up for. You can batch them. You can buy 1, you can buy 3, or whatever the case may be. So again, stay smart, stay safe, and stay social. Still from a distance. Mask up, people. Did you hear about The Rock? Yeah, The Rock is actually, his whole family has COVID. And this just makes me think about Labor Day. If you guys are planning on visiting family and friends on Labor Day, you might want to think twice. But if you do go, make sure you've got your mask and your hand sanitizer, okay? So be safe, because I don't want anything to happen to you. And praying for everyone who has been affected with COVID-19. I'm wishing all the kiddies and the young adults who are going back to school, a prosperous week, semester. I hope that things work out because we got to do this week by week. I mean, day by day, week by week. We never know what's going on. So stay in touch. Tomorrow is Friday Finds. Don't forget, I've got the bag of Friday Finds. And if you're following me along on Facebook, you know that on Friday, we're going to be doing Dollar Tree and Aldi finds. So that's Friday, tomorrow. Until the next time, stay smart, stay safe, and stay social, still from a distance, mask up. And I'll see you when I see you. It's the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger. Have a beautifully blessed day. Bye-bye.